something, right? Everything is still there. It's just that we cannot see. Correct? So Brahmaji could not see anything. So all he could, so he was just middle of nowhere. And that's how the creation starts, by Brahmaji's appearance. And then he sees the Lord who has created him. And then he speaks Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita's first verse, when he starts understanding in his senses, it is, he glorifies what he sees. So someone he sees, he glorifies him. So he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. These are his first words. Okay. Ishvara, please repeat after me. You can unmute, all of you can unmute yourself. Ishvara
Ishvara
Parama
Paramaha
Krishna
Krishna
Sat Chit Ananda
Satchit Ananda
Vigraha
Vigraha
Anadir Adir Govinda
Anadir Adir Govinda
Sarva Karana Karanam.
Sarvakarana Karanam.
So it is not that complicated to understand if you go word by word. Ishvara Parama Krishna, that Parama Ishvara, Parameshwara is Krishna. That's Brahma Samhita. Sat Chit Anand Vigraha. What is a Vigraha?
Like
Correct.
Yes, Rishi. Vigraha is.
a murti, like a manifestation.
So what is the difference between Murti? So there are two different words, right? Murti and Vigraha. So what is a Murti and what is a Vigraha?
See, the murti is a material thing. Vigraha, when you manifest the Lord, or the you experience, or you try to see the Lord in that object,
Prabhu, the
becomes
spiritual
Vigraha.
body.
Yeah, that is Sachidanand.
Yeah.
What is Vigraha? Have you heard
Correct.
about a deity, word called deity?
DT, yeah.
So what is the difference between deity and a statue?
Prabhu, the manifestation, as you said, the God himself is manifested into that. When the God is manifested, then it becomes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would you be
Vigraha.
able to tell what is a deity and a statue? If two are given in front of you.
Yeah. Prabhu,
How?
statue is like a material, like it's made of material elements.
Okay.
But when in that, sorry, Prabhu, what did you say, statue? Yeah. When we manifest spiritual into that deity, like when we invite God to come and manifest himself into that statue, then it becomes deity.
So if I give you one statue and a deity, would you tell which one is deity and a statue?
Difficult, Prabhu.
Yes, you can tell.
How?
How?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like
Good.
yes, so GT, when you say you are seeing God in that, you treat it as a living thing. Like you give bhog, you can't, you don't leave them alone in the house. You give them bath. You don't do that to a statue.
Very nice. Very thoughtful, Rishi. Wonderful. So deity is something which is being served regularly. So when there is this intention of service towards a vigraha which is being served for many, many years, by that kind of an intention, the bhava of service, that is a deity. So you can feel for yourself how. So if you visit a temple, okay, say you visit a temple which is about hundreds of years old, You'll find such temples in South India. I have visited there. So there are many Vishnu temples there which are hundreds of years old. And there are temples in North India also. There are temples in West also. There are temples in the East also. Everywhere in India you have temples like these. There are hundreds of years old. And there are temples which are created by businessmen. You will hear those. You'll hear those temples like Tata Temple, Birla Temple, all those temples as well. Okay, where there will be an organization who was created for someone, in the name of someone. They have created a temple, and there will be a pujari doing this. You visit the temple. I'm not saying there's nothing right or wrong, but you experience this for yourself. What is a statue and what is a deity? So when you go to those temples where the deities are not served for enough time with those intentions, you will feel that difference in that vibe, in that energy.
Energy, yes.
Say, for example, there is a temple in Vrindavan, Banke Bihari Ji temple. Has anyone visited there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So they don't give you the darshan for more than 10 seconds, 20
Yeah.
seconds, because the bhava of the devotees there is very strong. The service, as Rishi correctly you said, the service, the bhoga offered, it is so strong, it is so loving that the pujaris are scared that the deity will disappear with that kind of a bhav. It's not that it will walk away, but they have that feeling that it is so much intensified energy that the deity might disappear someday. That's why they don't give enough darshan. So you can feel the energy, you can feel that experience, you can feel that kind of vibe when you go to such temples where you have a deity which has been served for so many years and years and years. Because people, the devotees, have relationship with the deity, and that is the ultimate goal, of any devotee, that he creates a relationship with the Lord. So statue and deity. So deity is a vigraha. Okay. So Brahmaji is saying that this is a vigraha, this is a deity. But what is the form of that deity? Sat Chit Anand. It is not made up of gross material, gross material elements. It is not made up of any, what you call stone or any kind of, it is not made up of any kind of material things. What it is made up of? Sat Chit Anand. What is Sat Chit Anand?
Prabhu, Sat is truth,
Yes.
Anand is bliss,
Bliss.
and Chit is knowledge.
Yes. So Sat is eternal also, which
Yes.
is eternal, bliss, and knowledge. So it is a form which is a spiritual form. That's what Brahmaji explains. So that is Ishvara. And if you see in Bhagavad Gita, what we were reading so far, the soul which has been described. Yes, did Krishna describe about the soul?
Yes,
Which
Prabhu.
which verses to which verse? We have done chapter 2 now, almost at the end of chapter 2. Which are the verses where Krishna describes about the soul? Numbers, please.
10 to 30.
Without looking at the book, please. We have repeated this, I think, several times.
Yeah, it's 10, Prabhu, 10 to 30.
Okay, you're close, Mataji. Anyone else? Yes, Mataji, you're very close.
2.11.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu, 2.11.
2.11. 2.11, Krishna doesn't speak about the soul. Does he speak about the soul?
Oh,
What is
he
2.11? Okay,
says,
without looking in the book. We have
yeah,
repeated this verse so many times.
Prabhu, yeah, he mentions that you're mourning for something which is not worthy. So, subtle way we are mentioning soul there, but not clearly. He says, Arjuna, don't mourn for something which is not worthy of grief. So, he's talking about body and lament neither for the living nor for the dead.
So, yeah. Okay. So where is the soul element here?
Okay, Prabhu, it's about body. Is it living nor for the dead? Who are wise, lament neither.
Of course, it has the element of soul.
It
But
has the subtle element.
does he speak about the soul in this verse?
And
So
he
where does
doesn't
he
say the
speak
word,
about the
Prabhu.
soul?
No.
Where does he describe about the soul?
13 and 12.
13,
No,
12.
12. 12.
What does he say
2.12.
in 12?
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the
Good.
future.
Yes.
Of
So
first ceased.
2.12 speaks about that soul is eternal.
That's right.
So that is the Sat part of it. Sat Chit Ananda. So from 2.11 onwards, if you read all the verses to 2.30,
Yes,
you'll
Prabhu.
find Krishna describes about the soul. Those descriptions are similar or identical to Satchit Anand characteristic. So that is why we as a soul are parts and parcels of the Lord. That's why it is said that we are parts. So we are tiny part of that Satchit Anand. Is it making sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Everyone on the same page? Does it make sense? Any questions here? No?
No.
Okay. So that is Ishvara. Now, just because we wanted to speak a little about Durga Maharani, I'll share my screen with you. So this is from the same Brahma Samhita. Okay. So we'll read this verse, but it has to be sung very nicely. So uh, I'll read it fully and then we can go word by word. Able to see my screen? Yes? Can you all see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I'll say this verse and then you can go one by one. सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय साधन शक्ति रेखा छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So please repeat after me. सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय
Srishti Sthiti Pralaya
सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय
साधन शक्ति रेखा
Sadhana
साधन
Shakti
शक्ति
Rekha
छायेव यस्य
Ayeva
एव
Yasya
यस्य
वनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा
Bhuvanani
भुवनानि
Vibharti
बिभर्ति
Durga
दुर्गा
इच्छानुरूप
Ichha
इच्छानुरूप
Anurupa
अमपि
Api
अमपि
यस्य च
Yasya
यस्य
Cha
च
चेष्टते सा
Cheshtate Sa
चेष्टते सा
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
Govindamadi
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
Purisham
तमहं भजामि.
Tamaham
अहं भजामि.
Bhajami.
See the beauty of Sanskrit. You see, every little letter is pronounced separately, and it is different meaning with every word.
Prabhu, the third line is Ichha Anurupam Api.
इच्छानुरूपम अपि
Yeah.
इच्छानुरूपम अपि
Anurupam Api. Yasya Cha
इच्छानुरूपम अपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा.
Cheshtate Sa.
So you see the power of Sanskrit. What is written is read is understood.
Mm.
Yeah, what is written, exactly what is read and what is understood. So unlike English, so when you say no, it can also be KNOW or NO. So
Opposites, Prabhu.
what you say and what is written and what is read, what is understood is totally different. That's why Sanskrit gets very scientific, very close to machines. So that's why see, when they talk about robotics and all that, Sanskrit will become very powerful. Someone who knows Sanskrit and technology will be the next IT guru. All right. So start learning Sanskrit. Very important. Yeah.
Prabhu, I know
Very,
Sanskrit. Still,
very
I'm
good.
like bad.
Very nice. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? So let's see. Srishti, creation. Sthiti, preservation. Pralaya, and destruction. Sadhana, agency. Shakti, potency. Eka, one. Chaya, shadow. Iva, like Yasya, of whom, Bhuvanani, the mundane world, Bibharti, maintains, Durga. Ichha, the will, Anurupam, in accordance with, Api, certainly, Yasya, of whom, Cha, and Cheshtate, conducts herself, Sa, she, Govindam, Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So nice, isn't it? Let's read the whole translation. The external potency Maya, who is the nature of the shadow of the Chitta potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga. The creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. So Durga comes from the word Durga. Do you know what is Durga?
Fortress
Yeah,
or
fortress,
Yes,
the killa.
prison.
there is fort. Durga.
Fort,
There is
yeah, the
one.
killa, Prabhu.
And what is a fort actually?
This material world,
No, it is a jail.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, Prabhu.
Fort is one meaning of Durga. The another meaning of Durga is jail. Okay. So who is Durga? Durga
Maya,
Maharani is the jailer. Okay. And who are the Kedi?
We are.
We are the Kedi. Simple, right? So, very crude way of understanding this, but real time. Check here that shadow of the Chitta potency. Maya is shadow of the Chitta potency. And who is the internal? So this is Maya, Durga, external potency of the Lord. What is internal potency of the Lord? Who is the internal potency of the Lord? Mataji, Aradhya Mataji, no.
yeah, Prabhu, and
Someone else.
one,
Internal potency of the Lord.
Yes. So Maya or
soul,
Durga is the external potency of the Lord. Who is the internal potency of the Lord? Anyone
soul,
wants to try?
Soul itself.
What is
Soul
it?
itself.
Soul. Soul is us.
internal.
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
No, she's consort. So
Oh, Lakshmi is the wife of Vishnu. Yes. But is she the internal potency of the Lord? What do you think?
don't know.
One more guess from someone else. Someone wants to try? Okay, Aradhya Mataji, you want to try?
Yeah, Prabhu, the Supreme Lord,
Okay, Supreme Lord is Lord himself, but who is his internal potency?
the
So,
potency
Lord's,
of,
yeah. So the Lord's internal potency is Srimati Radharani.
yeah,
Radharani.
Radharani. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, I was
Okay.
thinking feminine side of Krishna.
So when you think about soul, it is the internal potency. When you think about the body, it is the external potency. So it is explained in the Shastras also that what you see as the energy, external energy, is the reflection of the internal energy. Okay. So when we talk about the external energy, whatever satisfaction you get in this external material world, in this external world which you see with your naked eyes, with the sun, along with the sun, okay, whatever you see, whatever you enjoy from whatever you see here in this material world is the external energy. And that is a reflection of the internal energy. So whatever you experience, whatever rasa, whatever maza, or whatever pleasure you experience in this material world is the reflection of the internal. But it is also known as the perverted reflection of the internal potency. So people think that the physical intimacy which we have in this material world is the topmost pleasure. That is also explained in the Shastras that this is the ultimate pleasure in this material world. But remember, that is a perverted reflection of the pleasure from the spiritual world, which is known as Adi Rasa. I'm just giving you a brief. I'm not going much into detail. Someone who experiences a tinge of Adi Ras will never come back to the material pleasures. So these material pleasures and material energies are controlled by Durga. But whom does she takes orders from is someone else, is the Supreme Lord himself. And that is explained in Brahma Samhita. Okay? So when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even Durga is happy because she also likes someone who chants the name of her master. Okay? So the best prayers or the best bhakti or the best service you can do on Durga Puja is chant the names of the Lord and serve the Lord. I'm not saying don't serve Maya Devi, don't serve Durga Mata, of course. But before that, if you serve her master, she will be more happy. People say that on Diwali you should Lakshmi Puja करना चाहिए. Lakshmi आती है उससे. Correct? Correct? Lakshmi is also the form of Sita. Sita and Lakshmi are one and the same. Yes? Correct? But Sita would be happy to come to you with Ram. If you want Sita without Ram, then who are you?
Ravan.
Haribol. So be careful on what you desire. Yeah. So always serve the Lord. And then, of course, you can serve his energies also. Okay. That was just a brief. Now we will go back to our discussion, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What verse we were discussing last week? Which verse did we discuss last?
2.47 Prabhu.
Okay.
Karmanyevadikaraste.
Did we discuss something after that as well? Anyone else? Was it just 2.47?
In the recording, it's 2.47 in the end, Prabhu.
Okay. All right.
Recording
so
was
everyone
stopped
has
after that, maybe.
okay. Okay. So everyone has understood 2.47 very clearly. So we can move on to the next verse. Yes. Yes. Can someone recite that verse without looking into the book? Full verse.
Prabhu, if not anyone, then I.
Okay.
So is it karma neva dikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan?
So recite the Mataji. You are asking me a question, it seems.
No, Prabhu, I'm asking, am I saying the same?
Someone wants to recite it without looking into the book.
Prabhu, I think first line I can, second I don't know.
No,
Karma.
full verse. No half verses, please. Otherwise, the understanding is also half. That's what general perception becomes. So full verse. Someone wants to recite the full verse without looking into the book. Can someone try? Okay, no, then I will have to give it to Aradhya Mataji to see it and recite.
Karmanevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhuma te sango sattva karmani.
Okay. So, what is the meaning of this verse? At least can someone say that without looking into the book if they have understood with your own understanding?
Prabhu, in short, like karam kariye phal ki ichha na kijiye. So like that's what Prabhu in short. So never be attached to the fruit of action, Prabhu. Just do your prescribed duties, is what is my understanding.
So, if I might add, there are four parts to this
Very
verse.
nice. Yeah, 4 parts. Yes. First one.
First part, do your duty.
Yes.
Second part, don't expect the fruits. You're entitled to do the duty. You're not entitled to the fruits of or the result of the duty. Third part, you are not the cause of the action. And the fourth part is, do not be attached to inaction.
Okay. So what is the very nice, but explanation, brief explanation on all the 4 parts in your own words or your understanding?
My understanding was okay, so just normal, like day to day work, also, my office work. Or if I have to do,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
should, and I should just work full 100% dedication for the work itself, not because I'm going to get a salary or I'm going to get a bonus or I'm going to get appreciation. So that should be my attitude towards work.
Yeah.
Maybe even submit that work to the Lord. This is, I'm doing something as a devotion. That can also be one attitude. Whether you get some result or not, that is separate. If you do get an appreciation, it is not because you did the work. There are many things, many factors involved, and it is
Aspect. Very
by the
nice.
grace
Yes.
of God. And if you think, if I'm not going to get anything, why do anything? That thinking should be shunned, because
Very nice.
don't get attached to that.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's a good understanding. Anyone else who has understood this verse?
Prabhu, I have
Thank
a
you, Rishi.
question later
Yes.
once they have shared. Can I
Yeah.
ask the question? Prabhu, I'm
Anyone else
clear
want
on,
to share?
yeah,
Before
first,
Mataji asks a question? Yeah. Kalpesh, Sushma, Sid. Okay. Silence means no questions. Yes.
Prabhu, like I heard the lecture and I also tried to read it. So what I understood is with my limited understanding that we have to do our duties. We should not be attached to the results, and we should not consider ourselves to be the cause of the
Yep.
results. But Prabhu, this last part, never be attached to not doing your duties. Little, I'm not able
Sure.
to
Yeah.
understand.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. This is the part generally people get a little, I would say, misunderstand this particular area. So what is inaction? Never be attached to inaction. Not doing your duty. It's inaction. So what is inaction?
Prabhu, not doing anything
So
or
not
doing
doing
something for
anything.
your own benefit, maybe in
Okay.
action.
Okay. So inaction means that you turn into a complacency. You take up complacency. thinking that because I'm not going to get any fruits, I'm not the one who is going to receive the fruits. I am not the doer of anything, and I have to only work without getting any results. It seems that I may or may not, I don't know, and I am not the actual cause, so I don't get the appreciation, basically, right? So there are two things here. One is the results of what you do. Success is what generally we are after, right? Generally, when we do anything, what is the expectation out of it? Sid will answer us. What is the feeling we want from that, Sid?
Okay. Yeah, after complacency, I missed your point. Sorry,
Okay,
Prabhuji, can you
yeah,
repeat?
that's fine. So when we do anything, say for example, any work or a project or any kind of work,
Right.
what is the expectation? I mean, what feeling do we expect? What should we get out of it?
Okay. That's literally a real-time example for me because I do this every day. So yeah,
Yeah,
we accomplish it without cutting corners with full dedication, and then we expect in reward because we do these things somewhere in the pretext of a reward that we would be appreciated for it.
wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be appreciated, and also we expect pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah, with appreciation, will come pleasure as well. Yeah.
Yeah, success is one. It should be successful. The success gives us pleasure, that feeling of pleasure. Appreciation gives us a feeling of recognition.
Yeah.
So this is the expectation, right? Generally.
True.
But this is exactly what Krishna is saying, that do not expect that feeling. Because generally, we always expect success when we do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been trying this for years, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's a practice. But something which gives us pain, we try to avoid. Like there are some works in the office or somewhere else, so are given that task, you try to avoid them because you know that is going to give you pain. You don't want to do them. So you try to avoid them.
Prabhuji, thank you for calling out my name. I literally came, I got away because of that. Thank you.
So when we try to avoid that pain, what are we doing? We are not actually focusing on our duty. What are we focusing on? We are focusing on the results. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I have one more thing to add to
Prabhu,
that.
sorry, Prabhu, not expecting success is fine, but not
No,
expecting play.
Not expect. You don't say that I will not expect success. No, you don't expect success or failure.
नहीं, मतलब,
You are
yeah, Prabhu,
focusing on your work.
yeah, like when we are working, we are getting pleasure out of it. We cannot detach ourselves from that pleasure because,
That will come later. The play,
Acha, okay.
what detachment will come later. First, let's talk about what is the expectation. So what is the expectation from the work? We have to be very sure that we are not expecting what is the result, or we are not even thinking about the result when we're doing our duty.
Yeah, because it's our duty. We have to do it. Farz hai hamara. Right, Prabhu?
So yeah, but
That's my
then,
farz and I'm doing it. I cannot expect anything out of it.
but that is not, you cannot, but there is a
Ah.
feeling inside which is always wanting that kind of a thing, right?
Also, that feeling should not be there. So, Prabhu, when we say ये तो हमारा फर्ज था, we are expecting appreciation in a way. Isn't that what you're talking about?
See, no,
जब हम कहते हैं
think
कि,
carefully, think a
yeah,
little deeper. If you say that I'm not expecting,
yeah,
it's not just saying that I'm not expecting.
not
It's
also
not just
expecting it.
it's not just saying that mera first thought, not expecting this, is just not saying it, but the feeling inside, what is happening inside you. Or you're saying that no, I don't want any recognition. लेकिन कोई recognize कर रहा हो तो बहुत खुशी हो रही है अंदर से.
Right,
So
Prabhu.
that
That's right.
is that is hypocrisy.
That's right, Prabhu.
That will be seen.
And Prabhu, when we are doing and not expecting, that is genuine.
1 minute. First digest this, Mataji, what I said. It takes time to digest this. Yes, anyone else? Does it make sense what I'm speaking about? Yeah, Rishi?
Yes, yes, it makes sense.
So first thing, you focus only on duty. So you do whatever comes in front of you. Just work and do that as your duty. Okay. And then next is, do not expect Ma phaleshu kadachana, never be attached to the fruits of the action. Because we are attached. Attachment means inside we are attached. Inside we are wanting it. So when you are attached to the result, that is the feeling inside. That becomes your intention of work. So the intention should be to work. The intention should not be pleasure out of that work or success out of that work. The intention. Intention should be to work as your dharma. Okay.
Prabhuji, so I connect this with our previous understanding also. When
Yeah.
the moment you talk about pleasure and pain, we know the definition of mind is one that likes differentiating good and bad, like likes
No.
and dislike, like and dislike.
Ah, correct.
So,
Correct.
and the buddhi differentiates between right and wrong.
Correct.
So the moment you are looking at the end goal as a pleasure or a pain, I don't want to do this, I want to, you are connecting with the
Yes.
mind, not the
Exactly.
buddhi.
Very nice. Very nice logic. Yes. Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we are studying at the moment is Buddhi Yoga.
Hmm.
So, Prabhu, are we
Nishkama Karma
talking mind
Yoga.
and intelligence here? What Rishi Prabhu is saying? Buddhi is like intelligence, Prabhu?
Yeah, buddhi is intelligence.
Intelligence and mind. Okay. Prabhu.
Okay. So Krishna is, what is this? What we are discussing at the moment? What is the topic Krishna is discussing? Henceforth from here.
Buddhi Yoga.
And what is the other name for that?
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti
Bhakti
Yoga.
Yoga. What is the other name for that? Another synonym?
Nishkam Karma Yoga.
Very nice. Nishkama Karma Yoga.
Nishkama Karma
So
Yoga.
this is why it is Nishkama Karma. Krishna has given Karma Yoga first. That is your dharma. When you do as a Kshatriya, when you do work as a Kshatriya, that will give you enjoyment. Now he is telling him Nishkama Karma Yoga. First he told him Sakama Karma Yoga. Correct? Which is also known as Karma Kanda. Then he is telling him this. So when you do some work for enjoyment, that is called Sakama Karma Yoga. That comes with reactions. Nishkama Karma Yoga, now when he starts a topic, is because Arjun had asked him the question that I will get reactions if I kill my own relatives. Correct? So enjoyment he answered, now he's answering the reactions. Okay, so slowly he will come to reactions, but this is a prelude. He's making the grounds to speak about Nishkama Karma Yoga more and more. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So he's mixing two. That is Sakama Karma Yoga. He's giving a kind of, what would you say, a debatable kind of two lines wherein he gives Sakama Karma Yoga and differentiates between Sakama Karma Yoga and the Nishkama Karma Yoga. So he's giving that bridge in this verse. That's why this verse becomes important. Okay, so never be attached to not doing your duty. Is that, don't think that this all is taking you towards complacency. Don't think that. And do not get attached to complacency because okay, I don't have to be ambitious much. अभी जो ठीक है उतना ही मैं जिधर हूं उधर ही रहूंगा. I don't have to go up the corporate ladder. I don't have to work hard anymore. No, you continue doing what you're doing, what you are best at. You don't stop. Do it with full heart. But the expectation has to be controlled. So for example, like like you do a lot of work, the project work. It's happened with me also. Done a lot of projects, but so happens that someone else takes the credit of it at the end, and he is appraised or she is praised on this one. Now what happens to you? Feel यार सारा काम मैंने किया, अब पूरा credit वो लेके चला गया. Now this is where the third part comes. Not think you are the cause of the work. Once you stop thinking that I have done it, then you stop getting attached to that work. I mean, attached to the results. Okay, if you think मैंने किया था ये सब और इनको सब मिल गया credit, then you are hungry for credit. That feeling of credit comes in, and that feeling of credit, feeling of acknowledgement, that can actually be a problem. Okay, for you, because that is your expectation again. So that is what you are working for. That becomes your satisfying object. Be careful. So your satisfying object should be completion of your work. Your satisfying object should not be the result of the work. Make sense? Tricky one.
Yes,
लेकिन ये
Prabhu.
धीरे धीरे समझ में आता है.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I
Question,
think
Rishi?
this way human psychology is also so nicely explained, because the moment you start thinking of the first part of this verse, you will get a feeling कि ठीक है, fruits है ही नहीं, काम करना है, I'll do as, but you have to be doing with the same intensity the duty, as if you were thinking कि मेरे को ये चाहिए,
Yeah.
same intensity, but at the same time not feel कि I'm entitled to the
Yeah.
fruits.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Like you need a lot
Very
of
difficult.
discipline to stay
Yeah.
on that
Easy
path.
said than done. Yes, you are right. Easy said than done. ये practically implement करने में बहुत time लगता है. ऐसे सोच के काम करना ना बहुत difficult है. But if you try, if you understand this verse and try to implement that in your life, work becomes easy for you.
I can see that.
Prabhu, if we think that we are doing everything as a service to Lord, for example, serving kids, because kids are given by God, so we are serving them. So we are doing our duties towards them. In a way, we are serving Lord because He's gifted us with them, or mother, or friends, devotees. So is it a right approach to think that we are serving God by serving them?
That concept is coming up later, Mataji, in chapter 3. So just
Okay,
wait for it. Yeah. No.
No, I'm just saying that when we do
That is
some
different.
duty.
That is called yagya. So you are going one step further. We will come to that later. Okay.
But Prabhu,
So
am I on the right track while doing things? I think like that.
that is very nice. That is very good. If you're doing it as a service.
That
Yeah.
motivates me to do work, that I'm serving Lord through them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One question maybe here, if you may give me the permission to ask.
Yeah. Please, Prabhu.
Now, I'm giving you one practical thing which has happened to me. I'm really depressed today, to be honest.
Okay.
Last weekend also, me and some of my team members worked. This weekend also we are still working. Now, today morning our boss says that we are seeing you guys are not giving the right outcomes of what you guys are working on. So I tried to put forth some facts in front of him that this is how we're going on, and that's the progress. And we just delayed by a few days, of course, but yeah, we'll try to catch up and complete that.
Yeah.
Now, what I foresee this is, we are definitely trying to do our work here.
Yeah.
But the person who is interpreting that work is not satisfied with the way we are doing or the outcomes he's expecting.
Yeah.
Now, this is what a mindset that are we really doing the right the way they want us to work, or should we not think at all about what he's interpreting of the work we are doing? Because there are things which are not in my control, where how do people work. So should I really bother or care about those is the question I have, and go back and justify someone who is the boss, of course, but should we get into that entangle is my question.
See, my understanding so far in any of these work related issues is clarity is always better than confidence.
Yeah.
This is my fundamental understanding. Are you clear about what you're doing? Because if there are clarity issues, then there will be fear. But if you do not have any clarity issues and you're crystal clear about what you're doing, then there will be no fear. Generally, when you are not clear, you try to hide it with confidence.
Mhm.
And that's where we make the mistake. And that is a wrong signal or the wrong message sent to our bosses or whoever. They perceive that we can do it. And they think we are clear, but we are confident we are not clear. So please thrive on clarity. That clarity can be anything: clarity of communication, clarity of your project, clarity of your work, clarity of your teammates as to what, if whoever is responsible. The clarity should be very strong. And if there is a thrust on clarity, then you don't have to put up a facade of confidence. You'll be automatically confident.
Yeah.
And there will be fearlessness. Does it answer your question?
Yep, to some extent, yes.
Yeah. And when we are expecting something from someone, that is the result. So we should not focus on that one.
Yeah,
That's this
absolutely.
verse. So if you don't focus, because what happens is that if we keep on thinking about what is the result of this, if I do this, whatever I'm doing, what is the result of that? If we focus on that, then we lose focus on the clarity of the work which we are doing. So we should go back, bring our mind and our senses and our energies back to the work and thrive for more clarity and implementation. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So where we are focused on is what is something which people start perceiving. So we should see where we are focused on rather than seeing what people are looking for us, what people are expecting or what they are wanting us to do. What you are wanting, or what you are focused on, what is your, scope of work. This is something you should focus on personally. So in today's times, nobody defines your work. You yourself define your work. That's how the trend is generally, because nobody likes micromanagement today's times.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why people manage their own time, people manage their own work. So they only define their own scope. So if you are clear about your scope, if you are clear about your work, and you are very crystal clear with the communication, there should not be any problem from your end. And that's how you will be perceived.
Yeah.
Perception is everything. Unfortunately, today, that's how the world is. Yeah. Does it make sense? If someone wants to add some comments, most free to add.
Prabhu, I totally agree when you said no, the scope of work. I think what Rishitesh Prabhu has explained, Prabhu. So what I could understand is that Prabhu, there is clarity of communication and clarity of your scope of work is very, very important, and clarity of deliverables, what this person told you to deliver. So I think if these if you
Whatever
can have
clarity, yeah.
clarity, yeah, Prabhu, clarity is the solution to everything,
Yeah.
especially communication, your scope of work, Prabhu.
So
Because Prabhu Shitish Prabhu, if you're going out of, if you're
chapter
not clear
4
what
will
is,
explain us
oh,
about
okay.
what is clarity.
Yeah, and that's really
So
needed.
chapter 4, when we are coming to chapter 4, it will help us understand the clarity. So what brings in clarity? So what brings in clarity is knowledge. So that we will understand later. But for understanding just briefly on that one and related to this verse, these are the two things: clarity and the focus on your own duty. And also there is one verse which is in chapter 3, which is very important, which we should also be careful of, that we should not do someone else's duty. We should only do our own
Yes,
duty.
Prabhu.
Yeah,
Scope of
absolutely.
work should be very clear, Prabhu. You should not be nice to go into others' things. Just
So that
keep
is
yourself in.
3.35. So that verse
Oh,
is 3.35.
coming,
So
Shitish Prabhu, for you, the whole three chapter.
yeah,
Third
so
chapter.
3.35 says Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Swadharmo Swadharma Swanushthitat. So it says that you should do your own duty, although if you don't do it correctly, instead of doing someone else's duty correctly.
Yeah.
Prabhu, you mentioned
So
it in
I
one of
think
the
you just,
lectures, I think.
yeah,
yeah,
we did discuss this before.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right, Prabhu.
So 3.35, you can read the purport, and also it might give you a lot of energy. And also, when we do not have much things in our control, as you said, what should we do?
Exactly.
What should we do?
Chant.
That's
Surrender
it.
to Lord Krishna, Prabhu. Let him take care
So
of it.
when we don't know what to do, that is, our buddhi is limited, we are not able to. The best is if we have done all our part. First, we do all our part, and then if we are unable to solve the situation, surrender to Krishna, surrender to Srimati Radharani. She listens quicker than Krishna. That's my experience. Okay, as guided by the devotees also to me. Yeah, my experience means not personal, mean guided by the devotees. They say that. So you can follow that thing also. Chant by thinking about Srimati Radharani. She takes the request straight to Krishna and he listens faster than we directly going to him. That's the
प्रभु
best
जैक
way.
लगा दीजिए राधा रानी का.
Because Prabhuji,
Okay,
now
so
the only point,
yeah,
last point, sorry, is
yeah, yeah,
the mind is getting trained now after all of this journey that we are having to ensure
yeah,
that don't be titikshaswa. That is the word I definitely like. No matter what happens, be
yeah,
very calm and quiet. And if there is something that happens, go two steps back,
yeah,
understand, and then retaliate. Is what
yeah,
I usually try to do.
yeah,
But yeah, there are a lot of situations happening in last 1 month. It's getting out of control.
yeah. Then you should take then the one thing which is that take time out to reflect on yourself. Because, say, for example, someone said something to you or something came up to you, you may not be in a position to answer it quickly because that is what expected. But take your time, do not react. Take your
Mhm.
response time. Take your response time. You know, I'll give you my example. It recently happened with me as well. When things were, not in my control, all I did was it had been a while, several months. I had not taken a sick leave. I took a sick leave, sending a very clear message: I'm not well, and the day I took a sick leave, I was actually sick, not physically, but mentally. And I had to chant and do all sort of devotional service I could do from my end to rejuvenate myself, and that gave me a lot of clarity. And the next day, I was very clear to respond back very clearly with all the supportive uh, knowledge. So that is another way. Sometimes we don't know our internals until we take a break and reflect on things within ourselves.
Prabhu, I
People,
second that something major happened with me last Thursday.
yeah,
So, Rishitesh Prabhu, I didn't know how to react or what to think. For 3-4 days, I was blank. Then I went to temple. I came back. I took 1 day off, like Prabhu said, off from all the duties. And then I spoke to myself, and everything was very clear to me. And I could understand my emotion, that it's sad emotion. I have to deal with it, and this is the way. So I totally agree, Prabhu. You need to take a break, think, contemplate, talk to yourself, and you'll get more clarity on everything.
okay. So yes, Rishi.
Prabhuji, one question, because
Yeah,
Kshitij mentioned Tam Stitikshasva, which
yeah,
is tolerate ups and downs, but we are also
yeah.
talking about do your duty.
Correct.
What is the balance between those two?
Okay.
You're tolerating
So
certain, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's the next verse. So you just picked up the right time for the next verse. Let's read the
Okay.
next verse. 2.48. I'll share my screen. Please repeat after me once you see the screen. Yogastha kuru karmani
योगस्थ
Yoga
कुरु कर्माणि
karmani
sangam tyaktva dhananjaya
संगम
sangam
त्यक्त्वा
tyaktva
धनञ्जय
dhananjaya
siddhya asidhyo samo bhutva
siddhya
Siddhyo
सिद्धि
asidhyo
asiddhyo
samo
असिद्धियो
samo
समो
bhutva
भूत्वा
samatvam yoga uchyate.
समत्वं
samatvam
samatvam
योग
yoga
yoga
उच्यते
uchyate.
uchyate.
So whenever you hear this word uchyate, 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 that means it is a definition. This is how it is defined. So when we say say XYZ theory is defined as blah blah blah. So that is uchyate. in Sanskrit. Uchyate means definition. So this is the definition of yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is the definition of yoga. What is the definition of yoga? Perform your duty equipoised. O Arjun, who is the Dhananjay, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Now, what is attachment to success or failure? It is bhoga.
Attachment to results, Prabhu.
1 second. That is bhoga. What is bhoga? What is bhoga?
Pleasures.
When you
Do it for yourself.
Enjoy.
Sakam Karma Yoga.
when we use the material
Fruits.
gross
Energy.
elements
To
in order to satisfy our own senses. Okay, so honor is equal to honorable actions, and pride is equal to selfish actions. Yeah. So the message of Bhagavad Gita is not about being violent or non-violent. It is about being transcendent. So there is nothing called as being violent or being non-violent as godly or non-godly. No, but godly means being violent for the right cause or dharma. So you act for the right cause, for dharma. That what is that? When you do it for yoga, not for bhoga. So you do not do for your pride, but you do it for the. So Krishna wants Arjun to be free from selfish actions. He wants him to do honorable actions. He wants to perform his dharma. I'll give you a simple example. Marriage. Okay, marriage. Now, what is marriage in today's times? Compatibility. मेरी चीजें उसको पसंद आती कि नहीं, उसकी चीजें मुझे पसंद आती हैं कि नहीं. This is where everything goes. Where he thinks about me, where she thinks about me, where she cares about me, where he cares about me, where she knows my favorite color, whether he knows my favorite color, whether she knows what I think about at this point of time, remember this at this point of time or no. This is all this. This is all in today's times. And you'll find in today's times, marriages are breaking faster than biscuits. Because it is not based on dharma. In earlier times, marriages were based on dharma. That I am doing this duty as doing my prescribed duty of marrying a lady who is arranged by my family or somehow by the cosmic, whatever understanding that it is being set up, so that we can serve our family, our this, and we can serve the Lord if possible. Ultimately, that if that is the basic fundamental understanding, then the marriage is successful, sustainable, no breakups of marriage. So marriages were treated as a dharma in India before. If you go back, not long enough, just 30, 40 years ago. Go for, further, if you go back 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. This is what the fundamental understanding of marriage was. But that is lost. But doing your duty equipoised, that is with dharma. So abandoning all attachment to success or failure. What is the attachment? Where is this? Where is this attachment? What is attachment? attachment is inside us. It is not outside, not external. We are attached to something. What are we attached to? This
Success and
house,
failures.
this money, this family, everything we are attached to. It's not that don't do your duty. You do your duty as a dharma, but don't be attached to it. Krishna will tell later whom should you attach to. It's a very thin line. You have to understand that. Okay. You have to come out of this understanding of success or failure being the validation for your work from external parties. Okay. So Rishi, what was your question?
My question was about tolerating the ups and downs while you're doing your duty.
Right. So what you tolerate success or failure. That is up and down.
Okay.
So when you tolerate success or failure, it is easy to tolerate failure, but very difficult to tolerate success. Because your mind takes you down exactly when you are at the
Top.
successful part of your life. It will ask you to do all sorts of bad things when you have a lot of money and power.
Because you deserve it now. So
There you
that's what
go.
it'll tell you.
That's what you think. I am the doer. I have done it all. As people coming to Prabhuji, I had nothing, only 1 rupee in my pocket. I started from scratch. And today, this is what I am. See, I am the doer. And then tomorrow they lose everything. Oh no, see, it's Krishna. Took away everything from me. No, he was the doer. But that's not the case. It is not the case. It is your own attachment. It is your own attachment to success or failure. If you are not attached to success or failure, you're always in yoga. Very nice verse. Perform your duty equipoised. Okay, so we'll go to the next verse, 2.49. Yes,
Prabhuji,
yeah,
one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this I understand attached to the result, very internal. But what
yeah.
about, for example, just using a part of this example, like keeping yourself tolerating other people's behavior or tolerating a situation which is external to you. Is that also what this verse is saying?
So
Suppose
there are
somebody is
things,
irritating you at work.
yeah,
You're doing your work, you know what you have to do, but somebody's behavior is irking you.
handling
And
people is also work, isn't it, Rishi? It's called
yeah,
management,
yeah.
isn't it? So that is also work. So when you're handling the politics at office, that is also work. That should be also recorded in your timesheet. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
yep.
clarity, isn't it?
Mm.
When you understand this is, then you'll put it down very clearly and you'll have justification for it. Yes.
Yep, yep. Fair
When you
point.
have written justification for politics handled, then you can charge the time. You'll get money for it, man. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
2.49. Anyone, any comments on what I'm saying?
Prabhu just
All
wanted
good.
to share a small story.
Story. Okay.
Yeah, it's regarding this. What Rishi Prabhu was saying. Once upon a time, Prabhu, with your permission, can I tell? It's a small one.
Yeah. Okay. If it is
Once there,
not too long. Yeah.
no, no, Prabhu, very short. Once there was a snake, so he used to bite people, and he was staying outside the village. So they were complaining. So Narada Muni was passing by. So they spoke to Narada Muni that he bits our kids and ourselves, and it's getting very difficult to cross him and go to the river to get water. So Narada Muni went and told the snake that you better chant because you are in your old age. So you better chant and take Lord Krishna's name, and this is the way you should lead life. So after a month, Narad Muni ji is again passing by. So he sees that the snake is like Lahu Lukhan. He's bleeding and all. He said, what happened? He said, I'm now not biting and people are hitting stone at me, because even if they're scared, they hit stones and I'm not biting and all. So then Narad Muni said, I told you not to bite, but I didn't tell you not to hiss, like not to scare them off so they don't hit you with stones. So that is something one of the Maharajis told us when similar question was asked by somebody at work for the workplace.
Yeah, very nice.
That how much
So
should we tolerate?
what is important is doing your dharma. So you
Yeah.
don't change your nature. What is dharma? Is your nature. So you don't change yourself because there are external circumstances or people trying to modify you. So you don't change your own dharma. You don't change your nature. So for example, what Mataji gave an example, that snake cannot stop biting, cannot stop hissing, because that is his nature. If there is snake which is not doing anything, you'll say he's not a snake, he's something else. Right?
And
If the sugar
people
does
take us for granted. If we don't hiss, people will take us for granted and kill us.
no,
Yes.
that is not the concept. I would say is doing your duty, doing your dharma.
Yeah, right. That's
So
right.
if
Prabhu.
you think that dharma of a snake is to bite or hiss,
Yeah. Hiss.
if you
That's right.
see, sugar has to make things sweeter. If there is an element which is not making things sweeter, you would not call it sugar. So you don't change your nature because of external circumstances. That is dharma. But you perform that dharma being equipoised. That's the understanding of 2.48. So when you do that dharma, do not feel bad or good about anything of that sort. Just do it as a part of your duty, as a dharma. Then you won't feel bad. Does it answer the question, Rishi?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
Yeah. So read another verse, 2.49. Then try to touch. I want to touch the verse of 2.54, but I ambitions. Anyways, Durena yavaram karma.
Durena
Mridaya karma.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhau sharanam anvicha.
Buddho
Sharanam
sharanam
Anvicha
anvicha.
Kripanaha palahetavah.
Karpanaha
Kripanaha
Palahetavaha.
palahetava.
Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. So you stay away from what? From what? Keep all abominable activities far distance by devotional service. Okay. So this is in relation to 2.41 without looking into the book. Can you tell me what was 2.41? Anyone? One word. Or two words. A phrase.
Prabhu, can you tell me first letter?
Very nice, Kshitij. Very nice.
Karma?
Vyavasaya
Atmika
Atmika
Buddhi.
Buddhi. So when you plan your spiritual life, Krishna plans your material life. Okay, very simple.
Can you repeat Prabhuji again?
So when you plan your spiritual life, Krishna will plan your material life.
Yeah.
He will take care of all the other things. You don't have to worry about it. So take an example of Vrindavan. Okay, there were no problems in Vrindavan until Krishna was born. Once Krishna was born, all the demons started coming in Vrindavan and attacking the Vrindavan. Yeah, Indra also attacked Vrindavan. That's why Krishna had to lift Govardhan. All the problems, Trinavarta. Then there was one lady. Who was that lady?
Putna. Prabhu Putna.
Putana. Everyone came in one after the other, hitting Vrindavan with
Alia.
Talupana.
Aghasura.
All those things happened. Yeah,
Aghasura.
only after Krishna was born. But everyone, what did they do in Vrindavan? What were they doing? Just taking shelter of Krishna. They were in love with Krishna. They will always go what Krishna says. And they had no problems. In fact, at the end, It was so that he actually took them to a different place, heavenly place, which is Dwarka, where he was their king, and they were very happy under his reign. So this is how Krishna actually takes care of you when you plan your spiritual life towards him. And that is buddhi. So keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. Try to introduce devotional service in your life. How can I serve Krishna is the question in my mind. How can I serve Srimati Radharani? Can I chant when I'm free, when I'm not doing anything? Is that giving me pleasure? Let me try. And let me do something in my spiritual life. I'm doing so much in my material life, trying so hard. Let me do something to serve the Lord. And when you do that, Krishna. So what happened? Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the summary of the entire Vedanta Sutra. So it is a commentary done by Vyasa Muni when Arjun's son Abhimanyu died or left his body in the battle of Kurukshetra. After that, his wife, who was his wife? Uttara. Uttara was impregnated by Abhimanyu by a son. His name was Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit, when he grew up, he became a very powerful king, and he was cursed by a Muni that he will die in 7 days. Now when he was cursed, after not doing any kind of abominable activity, no sin done by that person, and he was cursed. So this is something which we ask every time. यार मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया, मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? So you ask Parikshit Maharaj this question. He didn't do any sin, but he was cursed to die within 7 days. Now, what did he do in those 7 days is very important. He wanted to hear everything about Lord. How can I make my remaining life of 7 days successful? By doing some devotional service to the Lord. And suddenly, all of a sudden, Sukdev Goswami, he appeared in front of him. He said that I will help you in understanding everything before you leave this body. So he asked, in this point of time, how you came in front of me? Without asking for any help, you suddenly appeared in front of me, and you are, telling me that you'll help me. You are offering me help. How? Who told you to come in front of me? How told you to come to me? He said, Krishna. Krishna has given that guidance to someone. So this is how people will appear in your life and help you if you start your spiritual life. So there is a very nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Api me Bhagavan Preetah Krishna Pandu Sutta Priya. It's a very nice verse. I will open that verse. Can you see my screen? Yeah? Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes,
Api
Prabhu.
me Bhagavan Preetah Krishna Pandu Sutta Priya Paitra Shvasya Prityartham Tadgotrasyatta Bandhava. So how come you came suddenly appearing in front of me when I needed you the most? No, I told you. So because Krishna loved the Pandavas. So when you do such kind of activities, even your relatives, Krishna will enter in your life helping you and your relatives, everyone around. This is the power when you introduce Krishna in your life. When you do some spiritual activity. So he says that those who want to enjoy the fruits only of their work are misers. Tell me one good, happy person who's got all the toys in his hands and still happy. He wants more. He's not happy. He wants more. Even the richest person in the world, he wants more. He's not happy. He wants something else. So those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are actually misers. That's what, because they're not happy. Okay. 2.50. बुद्धि युक्तो जहाति है
बुद्धि युक्त जहाती है
Buddhi
उभे सुकृत उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते
उभे
Ube
उभे
sukrata
सुकृतुरे
सुकृते
दृष्कृते
dushkrite
तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व
तस्मात्
tasmad
तस्मात्
योगाय
yogaya
योगाय
युज्यस्व
yujyasva
युज्यस्व
योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
योगः
yoga
योगः
karma
कर्मसु
कर्मसु कौशलम्
sukoshalam.
कौशलम्.
A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So powerful verse by Krishna, 2.50. Work with intelligence. Do not just work for the fruits. Engage yourself in devotional service. When you engage yourself in devotional service, then slowly you are getting rid of good and bad reactions. Basically, what is success and failure? Good and bad reactions. So if there are no good and bad reactions, what will happen? Your expectations start cutting down. Because if there is nothing good, then you will not expect bad also, right? If nothing is happening bad, you will not expect good. I'm not saying everything is bad to you. But if these two things are not happening in life and your life is equipoised, if your thoughts are equipoised, how good that will be. You will be in yoga. Because you are serving. That's all you're doing. Krishna will explain this process. It's a very beautiful concept, which will Krishna will explain later. Let's do one
Prabhu,
more.
just a question.
Yeah.
Prabhu, in this shloka, is it that we are not supposed to expect, or is it that Lord Krishna will be taking care of this?
So when you do devotional service, when you introduce Krishna consciousness in your life, when you do your spiritual activities, what happens is that Krishna plans your material life. So it's not that you won't have failures or you not have pain, but what will happen is that your thought process is more equipoised in order to handle that pain. So for example, if I give you a tractor and let you go on a very topsy-turvy road, okay, what will happen? You'll keep on jumping, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. What
Yes,
is
Prabhu.
Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is a high-end four-wheel drive with amazing shock absorbers.
And seat belts.
That's it. And you sit on with that and you drive, no problem at all.
That's right,
Feel
Prabhu.
pain, but the feeling is awesome. That's what Krishna does. That's what he's asking you to do. Introduce devotional service and you will be equipoised. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi
कर्मजं बुद्धि
Karma janma bhukti
phalam
yukta hi.
युक्ता
tyaktva
हि
manishinah
फलं
Phalam
त्यक्त्वा
tyakta
त्यक्त्वा
मनीषिणः
manishiya.
मनीषिणः
janma bandha vinirmuktaah
Janma bandha vinirmukta.
जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः
padam gachanti anamayam.
पदं
Padam
पदं
गच्छन्ति
gachanti
गच्छन्ति
अनामयम्.
anamayam.
अनामयम्
By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. ये जेल में से छुटकारा का तरीका बता रहे हैं. जेल क्या है? दुर्ग. हाँ? दुर्गा माता हमको भी कंट्रोल कर रही है. धीरे धीरे राधा रानी कंट्रोल करेंगी. ये प्रोसेस है. So you have to surrender to the right energy. Okay. 2.52. Yada te moha kalilam
Yada te moha kalilam
te moho kalilam
buddhir vyati tarishyati
buddhir
buddhir
vyatitarishati
tarishyati
Trishyati
tada gantasi nirvedam
tada
Tada
gantasi
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 nirvedam
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 shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
shrotavyasya
Shrotavyasya
Shrotavasya
shrutasya
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 cha
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 When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. There are many good examples in the lives of great devotees of the Lord, those who became indifferent to the rituals of Vedas simply by devotional service to the Lord. When a person factually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to the rituals of fruitive activities. Even though an experienced Brahmana, Sri Madhavendra Puri, a great devotee and acharya in the line of devotees, says, Sandhya vadana bhadram astu bhavato boh snana tubhyam namo bho devaha pitrascha tarpana vidhau naham kasyama shamyatam yatra kwapi nishadya yadava kulottam Kamsa Dvishaha Smaram Smaram Agham Harami Tad Alam Manye Kim Anye Name. Oh, my prayers 3 times a day, all glory to you. O Beding, I offer my obeisances to you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer you my respects. Now, wherever I sit, I can remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, and thereby I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. So, you become indifferent from all the knowledge around you. If you just start devotional service to the Lord. At the moment, we find difficult, right? Somebody knows more, somebody, this guy knows less, he knows more. We are always surrounded by this, right? Judgments, perception develops on all these things, yeah? At work, at home, everywhere, social circles. You will be indifferent from all that knowledge. You will be understanding that very clearly because your intelligence has passed. When you are equipoised. Shruti vipratipanna te
Shruti Vipratipannate
yada sthasyati nischala
Yadha
Yada
Sthasati
thasyasti
Nischala
nischala
samadhava achala buddhis
samadhavachala
Samadhavachala
buddhistava
Buddhis
tada yogam avapsyasi.
Tada
tada
Yoga
yogam
Vapsasi.
vapyasi
When your mind is
vapsyasi.
no longer disturbed by the flowery words of the Vedas and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you have attained the divine consciousness. What is flowery language of the Vedas? ये अंगूठी पहन लो अच्छा हो जाएगा, ये पहन लो अच्छा हो जाएगा, ये यज्ञ कर लो अच्छा हो जाएगा, इसकी पूजा कर लो अच्छा हो जाएगा, ये रिचुअल कर लो, ये धागा बांध लो. These are all the words from the Vedas. You do this so that you can get success. Basically, you always want success and always want pleasure. Success और pleasure चाहिए, pain और वो defeat नहीं चाहिए. That's what we want, right? सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का. And these are prayers. But that is not possible, right? कष्ट तो आएगा, दुख भी आएगा. What is to be raised is the consciousness, the trance of self. You remain fixed, you become equipoised so that you're always traveling in a 4WD, not in a tractor. धूप में जाने के बाद इतनी देर से वॉक करो धूप में, मुंबई में, हाँ, पूरा स्वेटिंग. कल मैच चल रहा था, सब स्वेटी पूरा, सब लोग बोल रहे, everyone was sweaty in Mumbai, just outside being. Imagine you go into a straight away into a very air-conditioned room. What a relief. Your body is relieved completely. That is the shelter of the Lord. That is the shelter of Krishna consciousness. That is devotional service. It gives you that shelter. और बाद में होने दो, जो भी है. You are equipoised because you have introduced something in your life which is spiritual. You're focused on your work. You're not focused on the results. You're focused on your work and you've introduced Krishna. So you are trying to be equipoised in your work. Why? Because slowly Krishna will explain how to work in Krishna consciousness. Coming up, that's called Karma Yoga, chapter 3. Save it for the best, but at least understand now what is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So this is going on with the avoiding any reactions. How do we remain equipoised? Now this is the question asked by Arjun. Very important question, 2.54. Arjuna Avacha. He asks him now. Sita pragyascha ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. Please repeat.
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
समाधि केशव
Sitadihi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrjeta kim.
Sitadhi
तदिहि
kim
किं
prabhasheta
प्रभाषेत
kimasita
किमासीत
vrajeta kim.
व्रजेत किम्
He says, Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged and transcended? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit? How does he walk? ये कौन ऐसा बंदा है? मेरे को समझ में नहीं है. I'm not able to gauge this whole concept. कौन कर सकता है ऐसा? ऐसा कौन है बंदा? How does he do all these things? Yeah, very difficult, right? We are contemplating on this from so long, can't able to implement or can't able to visualize how to implement this, correct? So Krishna replies now here, 2.55. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kamans
श्री भगवान उवाच
Bhagwan uvacha
प्रजहाति यदा कामान्
prajahati yada
Sarvan Partha Manogatan
Sarvan
sarvana
Partha
partha
पार्थ
Manogatan
manogatan
मनोगतान्
Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta Sata Pragyastadochyate.
Atmane
eva
आत्मन्येव
Vatmana
आत्मना
mana
Tushta
tushasta
तुष्ट
stita
Sita
pratyasya
Prabhaja
tadochate.
Tadochyate.
So what is Uchyate? We just discussed some time back. What is Uchyate?
Definition.
definition
Definition. So he's giving the definition of
स्थित
Sthita
प्रज्ञ
Pragya,
Sita
equipoise.
Pragya.
Equipoise, equipoise, equipoise.
Equipoise.
बहुत बोला ना अभी तक. Remain equipoised, be equipoised. तो पूछा
Yes.
क्या ये equipoised? ये है equipoised. 55 is the answer. Prajahati yada kamans. One who gives up all the superficial identities as a brother, as a worker, as an employee, as a father. He gives up all these identities. Though he is performing his duty, but he gives up his identities and understand that he is a soul. Atmanyeva atmana tushta. Satisfied in his self as a soul. Siddha pragya sudochyate. He is called Siddha pragya. He is equipoised. So what is to be corrected? Our identification. Number one. And what is to be understood for satisfaction? Internally satisfied. Do not get satisfied with the external objects. Okay. You want to study further? कैसे बनते हैं सतप्रज्ञ? आज करना है कि अगले हफ्ते करना है?
For next week,
Okay.
I have to go to temple, Prabhu. So
Okay. Anyone else who wants to understand how to become Siddhapragya today, or should we do it next week? Kalpesh, what do you say?
Yeah, Prabhuji, next week is okay.
Next week is okay? Jitish, next week okay?
Yep, next week.
Okay then. So we'll
Thank
end our
you,
discussion
Prabhu.
here. Next week we will discuss how to become Siddhapragya.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's what we want to be, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
That's the aim.
काम करना है, लेकिन फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए सक्सेस और फेलियर का.
Exactly. 100%.
Welcome.
ऐसा कैसा कॉन्शियसनेस हम लोग अंदर स्टेडी बना सकते हैं? How beautiful that would be, isn't it? So
Mm.
Krishna
Yes,
will
Prabhu.
explain in the next
Maza aayega.
5 to 6 verses. Okay, so please attend next week Sunday. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Thank you,
for
everyone.
the beautiful class.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Happy
Hare
everyone.
Dasara.
Krishna, everyone.
Happy
Hare
Dasara to
Krishna.
all.
Happy Durgashtami.
Radhe
Happy
Radhe.
Durgashtami.
Yeah.
Radhe Shyam.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Radhe Shyam.